Hi guys, welcome to my review of Mission Impossible Season 1, Episode 11, entitled Zubrovnik's Ghost. In this episode, Barney and Rollin are tasked with trying to see if a member of the IMF family is being brainwashed and convinced by psychic means that her dead husband is talking to her from the great beyond and is convincing her to go behind the Iron Curtain to possibly do work that would harm the U.S. Right off the bat with this episode, I really liked the lighting choices for this specific episode. Late in the season, Mission at this point is trying to do its best impersonation of a haunted house episode within the framework of a Mission Impossible series. If you look back historically, CBS, at least in the old days, most of the shows like that were impeccably lit. That means you really had no sense of atmosphere. And I'm sorry to say that when you watch CBS proper today, be it on a TV network, they try to achieve atmosphere, but they really don't. Episodes that are done by CBS's television division these days are lit so immaculately that a blind person could possibly be able to tell you what is happening in a specific scene, even if that specific scene is supposed to be atmospheric. But because CBS has a certain lighting palette, it's just not. And going full circle here, I love that this specific episode of Mission, in a lot of scenes, especially the early ones, it is filmed in darkness and with very little light within the house. I mean, you can still tell what's happening, obviously, but the overall atmosphere is just dark and creepy, and I really liked that aspect of this episode. Another interesting question that this episode brings up is a question of faith and how faith can sometimes dictate people's decisions and how they approach a certain situation. A big part of this episode is trying to make Barney and Rollin believe in the possibility someone reaching beyond the grave and talking to their loved one and convincing them of doing a specific act. There's one person that tags along with Rollin and Barney in this episode, and she is a medium. And right off the bat, you understand that she is devoted to the mission. She does not begrudge people that believe in the supernatural when they meet up in Briggs' apartment. I can't remember who it was, whether it was Rollin or Barney, who really, after hearing a tape of a seance, basically say, this is bullshit and I don't believe in the supernatural, and there's no way that the ghost of this person's dead husband is speaking to her. Why don't we just convince her that she's being had by this gentleman? This female IMF agent really puts on a strong case to how her character's mindset is going to be displayed throughout the course of the episode. And for the most part, that philosophy worked for me, except for one instance where she let her belief possibly get in the way of this mission failing overall. And I really didn't like that. To that point, I said, excuse me, you are here to do a job. Damn your faith, damn your beliefs for one single second, and do this so the team can accomplish another thing, so that this agent won't go behind the Iron Curtain and possibly do awful things, possibly get killed after she completes this chemical weapon or whatever this other guy wants her to make for him, possibly to use against the U.S. For God's sakes, woman, just for 1 second, get your head out of your ass in this specific instance and get on board. And that really, grinded my gears a little bit. Also, um, one thing that I did think was kind of hammered over the head a bit is this specific scene where the director chose to go back to a shot of a particular element of this episode, and within the first, what, 5 to 10 minutes, they keep showing it, they keep showing it, they keep showing it, they keep showing it, and it got to such a point where I was sitting there watching the episode. You should take into mind, I've seen it before, but it got to such a point where I said, okay, you have gone beyond the point of hammering this possible idea over the head. You have gone beyond the point of overshadowing what's going to happen in the episode. I get it. You can stop. You can stop. Cutting to this visual. I get it. Just stop, please. It's kind of like, minus that. I thought that this episode was an interesting experiment for the people who were putting it together to see if they could get the mission formula to sort of adapt and to fit into a traditional story formula, that of the story formula of a haunted house. And for that, I applaud the writer and the director of this episode. I thought that they did a really good job with creating atmosphere, creating really creepy moments, and possibly making someone who is not a believer think about certain aspects of faith and belief, and whether or not there's life, there is something else after death. And if they were going for that, at least with me partially, they succeeded. And because of that, I will give this episode Zubrovnik's Ghost a C-. All right, guys, so that's my review of Mission Impossible Season 1, Episode 11, Zubrovnik's Ghost. In the comments below, if you've seen this episode, tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you didn't like about it. But as always, as I often say, I'll see you when I see you.
So much happened here, and so much is about to.